So yeah, it's the quick thank you again. Thanks everybody for coming. It's interesting to be up this early to actually be talking to a group. I usually do this in the evening, but yeah. So time. I think it's nice to be up early because then I think that puts us in a good mood. It does for me at least. And it's related to time because I feel like I have the whole day to do so much with. So thank you for that, for forcing me to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, the competition that we're doing is called the 48-Hour Film Project. It's an international thing, similar to what we're doing with Creative Mornings, where it started in the U.S. Creative Mornings started in New York. The 48-Hour Film Project started in Washington, D.C. And it just started to spread and fester from city to city, from country to country, from continent to continent. So now we're at about 130 cities across the world. I'm responsible for bringing the project to the Middle East. So we ran it in Beirut about 5 years ago. We had great results there, and then we started trying different cities. So from Beirut, we jumped to Cairo, Cairo to Dubai, Dubai to Amman, and we're thinking of adding some new cities as we go along. But we're definitely in those 4 cities right now. The idea is, and it's not just for film professionals, it's for anybody who has a camera, who might get a camera, who wants to try to make a film. I mean, cameras are so available to us these days. Everybody has this maybe dream somewhere in the back of their mind to make a movie and then show it and see how people react to it. And some people, will surprise themselves with what they can come up with. The idea for this project is you got 48 hours to do it, so it's a weekend where you show up with your friends, your family, whoever is going to give you those 48 hours, and dedicate them for you, and it's going to be at your disposal to just, okay, you're going to be my actor, you're going to be my sound person, you're going to be my camera person. Once again, I mean, the equipment is so available to us these days. We can shoot a movie on an iPhone, a phone, any phone has a camera. Yeah, let's not do any branding. Are we against that? Branding? No? Okay, I am. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I feel like we should get paid if we're gonna talk about brands. Anyway, so yeah, you can do it on any kind of, whatever's available to you. You shoot a film and then you edit and then you submit within 48 hours. The rules of the competition are the film has to be between 4 and 7 minutes, so 4 minutes minimum, 7 minutes maximum, and you have to include 3 elements: a prop, a line of dialogue, and a character's name. We've been doing this for 5 years in Dubai, and our screening for the top 10 films is this Saturday at DIF. So right now we have the Dubai International Film Festival going on. I think it started yesterday, which is really cool. I'm excited to see some films. Our screening is going to be on the beach, JBR, at 6:30 on Saturday night, which is really cool. It's an outdoor free screening where anybody can just roll in and watch the films. And then right after the screening, they're doing a 40-year anniversary screening for Jaws, Steven Spielberg's Jaws. I think it's my favorite Spielberg film, but it's really cool to actually watch that while you're on the beach, and I think it creates the atmosphere. So the thing is, we had 40 films this year, 39 actually, come in one weekend. So during the 48 hours where we ran the competition, which was about a month ago, less than a month ago, many filmmakers, aspiring filmmakers, students, amateurs, anybody who wanted to take part was allowed to take part, and they came back with 39 films. 33 were on time. So that's the thing. That's the main part. You have to be on time to be in the competition. So you get 48 hours on the dot. If you exceed that by 1 second, you're late. And late still gets screened. we like to encourage people, you know, I mean, they spent their weekend without sleeping, and yeah, and they slaved to make it happen, and you want to show their hard work, and the screen is there for them, but they're at a competition, which means that the audience can vote for their film, but that's it. The judges can't decide that that's the best 48-hour film. And the judge's decision is a big one, because what happens is the winner of the film in Dubai ends up competing against 130 other winners across the world. So the competition, like I said earlier, goes on in 130 cities. So there's a winner in each city from the project. So everybody's doing their films in 48 hours. And we end up with 130 films at the end of the year, and it's a big, festival we call Filmapalooza. Usually happens in the States. Last year it was in Hollywood. This year it's in Atlanta, which is like a new filming hub. I think they're doing The Walking Dead there. It's a pretty fun zombie series if you guys haven't seen it. Anyway, so yeah, the winning film will go on international. During Filmapalooza, there are prizes here. They get cameras from Canon here, along with some other prizes, and then international stage. There's cash prizes and other prizes from other international sponsors, and then the top 10 films of the 130 will end up going to Cannes, the Cannes Short Film Corner. So there's room for exposure. I mean, we've had great stories where people, weren't sure, they want to do film, they want to get into this industry, they're not really sure how. This is the perfect platform for just about anybody to just say, okay, this weekend I'm not going to stay in bed and watch, the series that I've been trying to catch up on. I'm actually going to go out and make a movie, and some people have actually, done a 180. I was about to say 360, but that would put you right back to where you were. And they've changed the direction in what they do in their life. And I've seen people quit their jobs and go on, to make movies and pursue that. So it's pretty cool. It's always fun to see what people can come up with in terms of creative content within that weekend. So we give them some tips, and a lot of the tips revolve around time management, really. I mean, if you want to be in the competition, you got to get the film done on time, and you have to manage your time. And I think that's something that is true in everything that we do. If we think about like the most stressful moments in our day or in our week or in our lives, it feels like it's always time related. We either feel like we're running out of time, or we're trying to get to a really important appointment, and we're stuck at a traffic light, and it's never a fun thing. Or we have some goals that we're trying to reach, and we feel like there's not enough time to reach them because we got so many other. So it's all time related. I'm not an expert on time, but I think since James has brought me on to do this, I've been thinking a lot about. By the way, none of this is prepared. I like to wing it. Just came in and just like kind of rambling at this point. I hope you guys are getting anything out of the words I'm putting together. But I'm no expert on time by any means, but the project that we do is time-based, and I think I have an idea of how to manage time sometimes. I think I do. Things have to get done, and sometimes I'm amazed that things get done, things can go wrong at any point, especially in the filmmaking process. Filmmaking alone, regardless of whether it's in a competition or a time-based competition or anything like that, it's more problem solving than anything else. I would say filmmaking is probably 60 to 70% problem solving. You create a plan, you put people together, and then you go out and you try to make it happen within a budget and within a schedule. So along the way, things go wrong. You never know. An actor gets, God forbid, sick or something and can't show up. When you're on a schedule that's budgeted, time is money, as they say. So every second that clicks is, it's kind of like money coming out of the production and just kind of disappearing somewhere. So, that can go wrong. Or a location, you get to a location you're about to shoot and there's a construction site, just popped up that morning. You have to figure out a way around it. So many things have gone wrong. I mean, it's unbelievable the kind of things that can just work against you. And trying to figure out how to get it done, how to work around those problems is really the trick to making a film most of the time. So yeah, I think you problem solve ahead of time. You say, okay, on this location, so and so and so and so can go wrong. It's not necessarily negative thinking, it's just forward thinking. So you problem solve, you say, okay, if this happens, we're going to do that, we're going to have a plan A and a plan B, and you have to do this for days and weeks and months of, so there's so much planning, there's so much pre-production that goes involved. So much of the film happens before the actual shooting, and then you have the post-production. There's three phases of making a film. There's the pre-production, production, and then post-production. And then there's, the marketing and the screening, but that's a whole nother beast. During the pre-production is when you actually, sit down and you take the money that you have and then you put it into the days, and you see how many days you can actually shoot with the amount of people that you have, and all of that, gets factored in, and then you go out and you hope that it goes smoothly, and some people can get it done, some people have to go over budget and, go back and beg for money and all that stuff. Now, this makes it interesting when you're doing the project, the 48-hour film project. You have 2 days to actually get it all done, which is pretty amazing that it actually happens most of the time. And some people have come back with amazing films. I've seen films that are probably better than films that people have spent 2 or 3 months working on, and they've done them in 2 days. So many things have to kind of fall into the right place. Luck plays a factor, I think, sometimes. So the only thing they can do in pre-production for the actual 48-hour film project is put together a crew, find out where their equipment is coming from, and scout possible locations. All the creative work has to happen within the 48 hours. So we meet on a Thursday night. Here the weekends are Friday and Saturday, whereas the rest of the world it's Saturday and Sunday. So usually in other places they meet on a Friday night. Here we meet on a Thursday night. Usually it's after people have gone out of work. A lot of people, have other jobs, and then they kind of do this on the weekend. And we get together at a location. This year it was AM Studio in El Coz. Everybody's there, everybody's excited, and we kind of, give them a little brief, give them some advice. A lot of it is, time management. And then we have a hat where people select their genre. So nobody knows what they're going to shoot before the actual 48 hours start. So you can get a drama, you can get a comedy, you can get a science fiction, a superhero, coming of age, period. I mean, there's so many different genres, so you don't know what you're going to get. And not everybody likes to do particular genres. Like I, for example, would hate to have to do a romance or a fantasy film. Just not my thing. I prefer to do a horror. And then other people probably, horror is like something they would, stay away from. So yeah, but it's a challenge. So if you do get it, it's like, okay, well, this is my nightmare. I'm going to confront it and try to make it happen. I think a lot of positivity comes out when you confront your fears. So the genre is the first thing that comes out of the hat at random. Once that happens, they do get one chance to give it back because you don't want to force someone to make a romance. But if they want to give it back, they get one chance to switch it out for another genre, and they can end up with something else, but they can't go back to the original, they can't draw a third time. Then we give them the prop, the line of dialogue, and the character's name. So the prop this year for Dubai was a glass of water. Pretty simple. You know, a glass of water has to show up in one of your shots in the film. That's it. How you use it is up to you. You know, you can bring it into the film however you want. The more creative you are about using the elements that are provided, I think the more interesting the film is, because you're structuring, they're kind of like these little building blocks for you to structure a script around. The line of dialogue was, "Trust me, I know what I'm doing." Pretty simple. You can fit that into any kind of conversation. And the character was Salah or Salwa, the private investigator. So we had to see a private investigator in the film somewhere, somehow. So those three things had to appear in the film. And then there are awards, we like to give, so the regular awards are Best Writer, Best Director, Best Editor, Best Film, and so on. And then for this, because they're structuring the film around the elements and they're required, we give best use of line, best use of prop, best use of character. And it's always interesting to see how people can use these elements to incorporate into the creative process. So, like I said, the actual creative work takes place within the 48 hours, and that includes building a story, creating a story out of the genre and the three elements, and then whatever ideas that you have floating around in your head. That part, I think, is usually the make or break part of the weekend, or just any film. When you're trying to make a film, the story is everything. I mean, when we go watch a movie, how many people are going to the DIF festivities this week? Yeah? Oh. Okay. Well, the cool thing is that in the evenings they're doing these free screenings on the beach, so you can just like roll onto onto JBR, sit on a beanbag, and just watch a movie with the cool air breeze and all that. So I enjoy that. If we have time for it, we can try to squeeze something in. So why did I go into that? Okay, lost my train of thought there. Anyway, we were talking about the project, and so yeah, you end up with the 48 hours to create a film from scratch. So the story really is the most important part. Yeah. So when you go to watch a movie, you're there to basically lose yourself in a story. It's filmmaking is storytelling through a visual medium. So using shots, and using the juxtaposition of shots to kind of create a world that didn't exist before. It kind of comes from somewhere in your imagination, and it's just a series of things pieced together to kind of, at the end of the day, make sense and fall into some kind of a story. So there's a beginning, a middle, and an end to a story, and that's the way it should work with film. Of course, there are other genres and experimental films and all that stuff, like where we can just kind of meditate on visuals, but ultimately it's a storytelling medium, and that is the make or break for any film, and especially when you're doing it in 48 hours. If you end up spending 12 hours, let's say, so you get your elements on Thursday night, you should be shooting by Friday morning. So like, you probably come up with the story within the first 5 hours, maybe get some sleep, maybe not. It's really up to the filmmakers how they want to go about that. So yeah, if you end up freezing, or what they call writer's block, for 10, 15 hours, you're screwed, I can say that? Yeah, you're screwed. Not sure what I can and can't say. Okay, yeah. So essentially, you're not gonna make it. If you do, it'll be a miracle. But I mean, it's tough enough to try to get it done within 48 hours. In any case, it's a fun thing. I think ultimately we're trying to have fun with our time, and if we can manage to find a way to have fun in what we do during our day, during our life, then it's worth it. And if not, we gotta work on that. So yeah, I mean, I hope everybody's having fun and continues to have fun because life is too short. There was a show when I grew up in New York City, and when I was a kid, there was a show that used to come on TV. It was called the Pee Wee Herman Show. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. And there was the word of the day, which was like he would just, it was a kids show, you know, it was for, you know, and we used to watch it. It was pretty ridiculous, actually, now that I think about it. But I mean, the character was just insane. But he would have the word of the day, and then every time the word of the day came, you know, he'd say it, and everybody would just like start screaming. And I thought, that would be cool if we can do that, you know, today. But I think like the amount of time that we use the word, spend our time using the word time is ridiculous. Even when it's not a time-themed, you know, conversation, we're always talking about time, you know. So it's a integral part of everything, and we don't really understand it.